Chapter 28. Roxanne Fitzner signs her duty chart, shrugs out of her hospital lab coat, and tosses it into the laundry bin in the staff lounge. She draws an anxious breath. Her shift is over, but her night is just beginning. Brushing aside the fear that she might be too scared to do what she has to do, she steps out into the corridor. "Hey, Roxanne. How you fitting in?" One of the orderlies, Gerard somebody. "Loving it," she replies sweetly, looking up at him. He's very tall and well-muscled. So is most of the male staff. They're not technically security, but they might as well be. How are she and the guys ever going to make this work? Bronx County Psychiatric is divided by wing. There are several lockdown wards where the patients, prisoners really, never leave their rooms, not even for mealtime. Thankfully, John Doe, Mr. Healy, is on the 4th floor, where the patients enjoy a degree of freedom. The elevator door opens, and there he is in the common area, listlessly watching television. The man beside him is carrying on a whispered conversation with the characters on the screen, but Healy doesn't seem to notice. Nor does he particularly seem to be paying attention to the program. His mind is exactly where his life is, in limbo. He's obviously depressed, and no wonder. She's almost flattened by an attack of conscience. How could she be conspiring with the people who let this wonderful man rot in his confused solitude for weeks? She takes Gecko and his friends at their word when they say that Healy's injury was an accident. But how could they wait until now before taking action to save him? Why am I helping these guys? Is it just because I like Gecko? Am I that shallow? Yet, all the evidence to the contrary. She's positive that, at his core, Gecko is a good person. Surely I can't be wrong about something that important, that basic. Besides, how can a spoiled rich girl judge kids like Gecko, RJ, and Terrence? They've known nothing but hardship, while she's known only private schools, private clubs, private yachts, and doors that are always open because of who her father is. "Hi, John." Healy looks up and beams at her. His smile seems all the brighter for how rarely it appears these days. "Hey, stranger. How's the orientation coming along?" "Done. I'm chief psychiatrist now." "Don't I wish," he exclaims. "Then you could check me out of here." "Well, maybe not all the way out," she says lightly. "But how about I drag you down to the cafeteria for a cup of coffee?" He makes a face. "The inmates are only allowed decaf here. It tastes like raw sewage." "Hot chocolate, then," she coaxes. "And I'll throw in my brilliant conversation." He stands. "You're a lifesaver. I need to get off the planet Krypton for a while." The cafeteria is on the main floor at the rear of the building. Its walls are painted a deep pink. "Research shows that this is the most restful color," she says, plunking 2 steaming cups onto the table in front of them. "At least, that's what the head nurse said at orientation." "It looks like someone blew up a flamingo farm," he comments cheerfully. Roxanne notes the difference in Healy when he's removed from the atmosphere of the ward. His mood is lighter. He's almost relaxed. You can actually see his shoulders descending from up around his ears as his tension eases. She's tense enough for the 2 of them, but she can't let Healy notice that. Everything has to seem normal. She sips at her drink and tries not to stare at the doorway leading into the kitchen. Behind that wall, she knows, lies another door, the one that leads to the alley, where Gecko and his friends will be waiting very soon now. The sign on the small panel truck reads, "Ajax Linen Service." "It's a tight ride," Gecko confirms as he tools the vehicle onto the uptown FDR. All rides are tight when the opportunity to drive is as rare as a 4th of July blizzard. "I still say we should have jacked something with a little more style," Terrence grumbles. "We've got all the style we need," RJ insists. "If anybody spots us behind the hospital, we look like we're making a delivery. Let's keep our heads in the game. This is for all the marbles." "And for Mr. Healy," Gecko adds, his knuckles white on the wheel. Terrence grunts, but he can't deny the truth of it. Up until now, his life has been mostly about image, acting tough, looking cool, coming off gangster. But tonight, he sees that image is worth squat. When you're playing for stakes this high, only results count. If they can't make this happen, nothing else matters. They fly up the FDR and hit the Willis Avenue Bridge doing 70. The red brake lights come out of nowhere. Gecko stomps on the pedal and pumps the truck to a lurching stop. RJ is alarmed. What's all this traffic? Gecko throws the gears into reverse in an attempt to back them out. Too late. A crush of vehicles has filled in the roadway behind them. They're locked into the snarl. Crouched in the payload behind the front seat, Terrence straightens up and peers over the stopped cars. Lights flash in the distance. Accident up ahead. How long till we get through? How should I know? Snaps Gecko. Calm down, soothes RJ. But there's nothing to be calm about. They have scripted every minute detail of this operation, except one. What if they're late for their own breakout? Rocks, Gecko moans in agony. According to their timetable, at exactly 9:20, she's going to bring Healy to the kitchen exit. If she opens that door and we're not there... You're the hotshot driver, Terrence exclaims. Get us there. We'll get there, RJ insists, trying to convince himself as much as the others. What if we can't? Gecko demands, his voice rising. 15 minutes go by. They have not moved a single inch. This better not be some little fender bender, Terrence seethes. If we're going back to jail over this, I want somebody's spleen lying on the road. 3 pairs of eyes switch from the unmoving jam to the dashboard clock. 8:40. 8:50. 9. We're so dead, moans Gecko. Poor Rocks. She'll be fine, says Terrence bitterly. We're the ones who'll be taking the fall. Maybe not, breathes RJ. Look. The traffic is suddenly moving again, as if nothing ever happened. Floor it, orders Terrence. Gecko is already weaving the panel truck through the gaps that are opening between cars. They pass a wrecker with a stalled SUV on its hoist, and Terrence awards it an obscene gesture. Spleenless fool! Can we make it? Asks RJ. In answer, Gecko wheels down avenues and side streets, running stoplights and using the sidewalk as a passing lane. The dashboard clock reads 9:17 as they pull up to the access lane behind Bronx County Psychiatric Hospital. The guardhouse is empty, the entrance padlocked, just as Roxanne said. Terrence heads for the rear doors, cracking his knuckles as he goes. One open gate, coming up. And then a bent figure appears out of the shadows. Freeze, hisses RJ. Barely daring to breathe, they watch as the man shuffles across the accessway, shining a flashlight at the gate and the alley behind it. Rox didn't say anything about a night watchman, Gecko whispers. The clock, 9:18. Their heartbeats seem to reverberate inside the truck. The figure ambles to the corner and disappears around the front of the building. No, RJ rasps. Terrence is out and on the gate in a flash, his hand just a blur as he works on the lock. 9:19. The barrier swings wide. The linen truck enters the lane. Terrence shuts the gate and jumps back inside. The 3 pan the rear of the building, but see nothing other than barred windows and thick stone walls. Sweating, Gecko halts at a row of dumpsters, and there it is, a heavy steel door with no knob on the outside. 9:20. 0 hour.